Welcome everybody. This is George Veeder of Veeder Financial, giving you a little market update and sharing you my thoughts of where we are at this point in the calendar. First of all, the market has been very strong year to date. We're up a few points on the Dow and the S&P, just a little over 2 months into the year. We've had huge gains in the Russell 2000 or small caps. As of Friday, we were up just right at 11% year to date with small caps represented by the Russell 2000 index. And then emerging markets also are having a really good year. They're the second highest performing asset class or sleeve of the economy. And again, emerging markets, we consider that. CNBC calls them the BRICS lots of times: Brazil, Russia, India, China, but newer, quicker developing markets that aren't as established as our traditional trading partners. So there's extra volatility in that asset class, but it's having a good year as well. Now, as far as what did well last year versus this year, technology, especially large cap technology, had a phenomenal run in 2020. I think because consumers were looking at technology to help us navigate the pandemic that we were all experiencing, a lockdown in relationship to. Technology companies were helping us to figure out how we could be more productive working remotely and living at home, and consumerism at home, etc., not going out as much. And so everybody looked at technology as helping us to solve for the greatest productivity in that circumstance. So everybody wanted technology. Also, of course, the biotech industry did well last year because people were guessing who's going to come up with the vaccinations against COVID-19 or for COVID-19, and then also drugs to help treat symptoms. So that being said, our NASDAQ leadership kind of carried the day last year, but those things have calmed down in the fourth quarter and into the first quarter of this year. We've had a rotation in asset classes. Clients ask me often, do you feel like we're in a bubble? And I would say, there's no way to really know if we're in a bubble at any given point in time. That can be examined after the fact, not when you're in the middle of a market cycle. But I will tell you this. I know we're having healthy market rotation. So the NASDAQ stocks that did the best last year are not doing the best this year. Now we have the Russell 2000 or small cap leadership that nobody wanted those stocks for the first 9 months of last year. Now they're all the rage because people are finding value there based on valuations and trends, and then going outside the United States to look for better valuations. So to me, that's a smart investor looking for value where they can find value instead of just chasing assets at any level. So I like investor behavior here. I think another thing that's propelling the market forward is the anticipation of consumer spending picking up. Because we're getting vaccinations and the world is adapting to this pandemic and we can't stay still forever, and different sleeves of the economy keep opening up as the government allows that. I think in general, the analyst community sees consumerism exploding because we've been saving money and not able to live the way we're used to living, going out to dinner and traveling, etc. But soon that is going to be changing, right? At least in degrees. And so the anticipation of consumer spending picking up and a boon there. So I think there's tons to look forward to. I would just mention also that because of the political situation, having a new change in administration, and we have a lot of talk about, is the current administration going to ruin the U.S. economy or whatever, if you're on the other side of the fence. I would just reiterate, and you've heard me say this before, there is not a direct correlation based on my study of history between economic cycle and political cycle. I think great businesses are going to grow and innovate and compete no matter who is president and no matter what, whether we're blue or red at any given point in time in leadership in this country. We have to have our fundamental belief that free enterprise works and continues to be the lesson of history that free enterprise is the best way to prosper a civilization. So we just need to make sure that we always follow the rules, that we don't try to gas around the corner, because if we're wrong, the risk is too great. We can't go in and out of cash thinking we know something everybody else doesn't know. We need to stay invested. We need to stay diversified. We need to make sure our managers that we're using in our models are beating their peer groups on average. We need to make sure that we're rebalancing from time to time so we don't get too concentrated on an asset class or specifically on an asset. So we never want to say, okay, we have so much faith in this one asset, no matter what it is, that we're going to put half our money there. Jack Vogel, who's now the deceased founder and the former CEO of Vanguard, used to say, don't worry about finding the needle in the haystack, buy the haystack. And with our portfolios, you own the haystack in the greatest economy, in the greatest world system that we've ever known. So there's more than justification to be optimistic. And we'll wade through the little scary moments along the way, but focus on keeping your families healthy and finding things to be joyful about and optimistic about. And we'll continue to do our job and be effective in this partnership. Thank you again.